Hey everyone, Corey from Aquarium Co-op. We're here in Gary Lange's fish room. We've got a full tour coming, but there's a lot of cool stuff, and we're staying over the night before we drive again to the next place on this trip. And so we thought we would capture some extra footage for you guys. If you have any rainbow questions, Gary is here. Proof, he's here with us.
Hi,
and
guys.
we can ask questions if you have any specific rainbow questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to show you some really cool looking fish. So when the questions come up, yeah, I know this guy right here. These guys were on fire earlier.
Oh man, that's such a good
Bozeman
coloration.
from Uter.
Yeah, that, and it only, you were saying it only gets
Uter.
like 3.5 inches or something like that. It's a smaller
it
one.
Doesn't get too much bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's a small tank, but they don't get much bigger than that.
Yep. And the ones that I got are over here. I got some of these guys, some of these blue eye reticulatus that I'm bringing home to try and breed. So a small one. Yep, we are in St. Louis currently. We're off to Colorado next. There's Jimmy. We're gonna shower for the night and we leave wicked early in the morning. So here's a question for you. How do you breed the they're asking, how do you breed Bosmani rainbows? What you got the tips for them, or?
Quick 5 tips maybe.
Sure.
Or
First thing you do, you want to feed them good. You want to feed them frozen bloodworms, live blackworms. If you've got them, you've got to change a lot of water. A good water change is at least 50% every time you do it. You want to get the fish up to Bozeman. I spawn at a very early age, so you want to, they at 1.5 inches.
Wow.
So yeah, they're very precocious very quickly because these grow to 4 inches. But if you look in this tank, you'll see there's a mop in the tank. You can find many articles on how to make mops. Way in
the back there is that mop.
And
Yep.
I put it right underneath the sponge filter. That sponge filter needs a little bit more air going through it, and they go in and they run in the filter. You can see the colors on him now. He's been chasing the females back there, and there's quite a few eggs in that mop right now. I can guarantee it. So
Nice.
we could pull that out and see the eggs if you want to do
That'd
that.
be
too,
cool.
but,
Yeah. If
okay.
I don't know if I can get that in, but we will see if I can get that. And someone was saying, yes, Gary Lange will be speaking at the Chicago Aquatic Experience. And so if you haven't bought your pass to see speakers, you can see Gary give a full-on talk and stuff like that. So this is a preview, and I'm sure you'll see his fish room that we're putting out and, all that. But
Look at those eggs.
Oh, yep.
See those eggs? This one here is an eyed-up egg that's just about ready to hatch.
oh, wow.
Some of these other eggs, can you focus on?
Yeah,
close enough?
we see them.
And then you've got some of these clear eggs that have just been laid.
Those are really small compared to those other ones you're showing me.
Yep, very small compared to Pseudomogil eggs. Now it takes about 10 days for a rainbow fish egg to hatch. So what I do is I put the mop in with the fish for about 10 days, pull the mop. The easiest way is just to pull the mop, and that way you don't have to worry about it. We'll get away from that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry about the eggs going bad on you. And if you pull the adults, they get kind of upset, and it takes them a couple days to readjust. So for me, it's easier just to move the mop.
Yeah.
Mops are real easy to move. Adults are hard to catch.
And then so what's the next step? Like APR? Is that your next food for those?
You start incubating them right away. Yeah, APR isn't made anymore, so golden pearls,
Okay.
5 to 50 microns is really good. If you're good with green water, that's great, but more times than not, I just make a mess with green water. So APR is easy. It takes about 3 days for that first fish that hatched, 3 to 4 days to eat baby brine shrimp, live baby brine shrimp. So, but you keep feeding because that one egg got laid at day 1, the other egg got laid at day 10, so there could be up to 10 days apart.
Yeah.
So keep feeding the golden pearls until everybody's eating baby brine shrimp. That's an important
Nice.
thing.
And if you don't know what baby brine hatching looks like, he's
There
got,
you go.
2 tubs of brine going right here in the 2 liters. With his own DIY stands even. I like that. Someone says, will they lay in heavy plant cover more often or mops?
They lay in both. I tend to, I want them to lay in mops, that way I can move it over to another tank.
Okay.
But they'll lay in either one. I don't put frilly plants in a lot of my tanks if I want them to lay in the mop. So I have a lot of water sprite in a lot of my tanks, but if it's a tank that I want them to lay in the mops, I won't put, especially floating water sprite, because they love those roots. Take a look at these roots here. You can see this one fish is actually, flirting around in the roots. That's
Yep.
a perfect place for them to lay, but since I want them to lay in the mop, that way I can see it's really hard to pick eggs out of roots, but it's very easy to pick them out of eggs. But most of the time I just move the whole mop, so no reason to pick them and just move them out.
It says they're a little bit hard to hear you. I know we're in the fish room and we've got, we're trying to show off fish. Luckily, we did a full tour of everything in here with Gary. We mic'd him up, all that kind of stuff. Someone says, Gary, don't carry.
Gary don't carry.
That's right. He's got his...
Why did we get Gary don't carry? Because we have all these wonderful ways of changing fish water.
Yeah.
This is my 3-foot gutter. It's attached to the line underneath the sink.
Yep.
These little hooks on the side, they fit right in over here on the side of the tank. So that way,
Here, let me move this for you. There we go.
let you get closer, I'll talk a little louder too.
Yeah.
This hooks right into there. Boom, and then you got it.
Wow, that's genius.
And you can, I didn't discover this, I stole this from somebody else.
Well, that's what makes
So-
you a genius. If you discovered it, you spent too much time in development.
Yeah, well, I come up with some good ideas. Then you can go in there and get that dirt out of there. And, oh no, these things are great, but boy, you do not want to carry water around. That's too much work.
I agree.
So that's one of the ways. The other way is that I've got a bunch of tanks that are drilled already. Got that flashlight there still in your hand? Okay.
We'll flip around here and I'll film you. It'll be hard for him to hear you, but I'll relay the info.
You could selfie tap.
Okay. You can see that we've got the, now that we've attracted all the fish there, but there's a standpipe that goes halfway down. Underneath this tank, you can creep down this far. You see I've got an on-off valve right down here.
Okay, yeah.
See that? You just flip that valve and the dirt goes away. Now you still have to get in there with, I do use a bucket for this and a siphon. I just get out like a half a gallon of water, pour it into a bucket to get that moam out, because that's not going to go out with that. But you just do a 50% water change while you're doing something else. While I'm doing brine shrimp.
Yeah.
While I'm watching these fish spawn over here. So that's a great thing to do. So that's one of my methods. The other method is, I've taken everything away. Here, I'll grab it out.
We're on the move. We'll flip the camera around here. There we go.
Butt shot out of that. Okay, so this is the other way I change water. I have several of these replaceable pieces of PVC depending on what the tank is.
Yeah.
This one says it's for the 48 gallons, the 40-gallon breeders. So that gives me a 50% water change when I hook this into one of these tanks. Up and in there. I've got shorter ones and longer ones depending on what the tank is.
There you go.
Do that. Suck on the end of that. Put that puppy in the sink.
Yep.
And it drains, and it only drains as far as you want it to. That's a good thing. So
Yeah.
I wish I could do it as accurately as putting water back in, because every once in a while I overflow them, but that's a pretty good way.
What day are you speaking at the Aquatic
I'm
Experience?
speaking on Saturday. I believe
Saturday.
The time
Okay.
is 12:30. Check the AE's website though, and it'll tell
Yeah.
you for sure. There are a lot of fantastic speakers this year. Klaus Christensen on plants, Karen Randall on plants.
She's the judge on the plant thing too, right?
Yeah, I think so. So you also have a beautiful shrimp contest going on, but Hans Evers is going to be there.
Oh, wow.
If he survives his latest trip to New Guinea. So he's got a very exciting trip that he's on right now. Heiko Blair is going to be there, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody else very important too. But as far as 3 rainbow fish people, you got 3 rainbow fish people right there that ought to be talking on something pretty
So
cool.
Jane tanked with a $5. They basically paid us $5 to know what % of live or frozen food and flake and pellets do you feed your rainbows?
Boy, I feed about probably about 80% frozen foods, 10% live foods. I feed the live the live blackworms to the fish that I really want to get breeding.
Okay.
And then flake food is just a little bit on the side. It's kind of like potato chips. Yeah, it might have all the vitamins or well, at least all the proteins that you need, but they just get way more excited about brine shrimp and frozen bloodworms and mysis shrimp and what are the other things? Planktons. You know.
Yep.
They just do better on that. So.
All right. How many rainbows can go in a 20 long? I know that doesn't describe what type of rainbow, but you got a little short. Here's what I would do in a 20 long.
Yeah, that really is a hard thing to say. If you had praycocks, you could easily probably put 25 of them in the tank. If you had some of the pseudomcgills, you could probably put 45 in the tank.
With heavy water changing.
If you wait until the photos come out, you're going to see the cyanodorsalis, which are only an inch long, but maybe what we had 50 in that 10-gallon tank. So
Yeah.
it really depends on the fish. And if they're really aggressive, then you have to be careful about stacking too many. Should we go back to that 75 and sort of dispel some
Sure,
of these
yeah.
rumors?
We've been talking about that all night, where people are a little afraid to put rainbows stocked into a tank.
Only six rainbows in a 55-gallon tank.
Let's flip that around. So yeah.
Will that give you better? Or will you
No, that's good.
Okay.
That's
Maybe that'll
iPhone's
give you
amazing.
some better colors.
So
that
this
way.
is 75. How many rainbows do you think you roughly have in there?
Okay, Rain Man, count them. Probably 40 rainbows in there. So there's quite a few, and most of them are, half to 3/4 grown. You do a lot of water changes on this tank. You do at least 50-60% once a week and more if you can help it. You notice that I've also got some of the beautiful Swiss tropical foam filters on there. So
Yep.
2 really big biological filters and a lot of airflow on that. So that's important. And I also have plants in there to help suck up the nitrates because that becomes a really big problem. So you can put a lot of fish in a decent tank. I wouldn't go with something like a Bozemanite in a 20 long because they just, the ones that are out there now get pretty darn good size unless you're getting some of the smaller ones.
Yeah. So Nancy Griffith says, "Thank you, Gary, for all the hard work you're putting into the hobby. Hope to own some of your fish someday."
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I am starting to sell fish to valley fisheries. Not sell fish, but give fish to valley fisheries, and they're producing them for seagrass. So hopefully you're going to start seeing some of those, like that beautiful Bozemanite up there. He has
What's
stock now.
the time from you giving them a fish to them hitting a store? Is that like a year and a half, 2 years? Because they got to breed up brood stock, then they got to.
Well, some of them are going very quickly, and it's been like a year. The Antinjo and the Ooters now are out there right now, and what's funny is that a lot of people are going, "Oh, gee, those Bozemanite you had before, they got to 5.5 inches," and it's like, yeah, but they didn't have any color. These have really good color, but they're only 4 inches. What do you want, a colorful fish at 4 inches, or do you want a kind of a washed out fish at 5.5 inches?
Yeah.
I always take color, so. That's one thing I've heard people complaining about. It's like, stop complaining. Go for the good stuff, Go for the color.
That's a hobby quote right there.
Yeah.
Stop complaining.
Yeah.
We get to keep fish in a glass box.
Well, can I say quit your bitching on the air?
You just did. It happened. So
Cut that.
let's see what else. I just noticed that Brine Tree must be harvesting soon. Yeah.
I pulled it out so you could see all the orange there.
Yeah, all the orange is the brine that can be harvested to feed those eggs.
And we won't really show the whole thing, but you take something like this, take an airline tubing with the rigid tubing on the end of it,
Yep.
put that down, and you suck all the orange out, and you try to avoid the eggs, because especially with young fish, you really don't want them eating the eggs because that can give them troubles.
So we've got 365 people watching, 114 likes, but Jimmy brought up a good point from the other room. You have the fish that's named after you, Gary Lange, and they look amazing, so I should go show them off because it's named after you.
Sure.
Yeah, you're sure.
What the heck?
Yeah, so Gary Lange.
Yeah, you want me to be named for an ugly fish?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
they don't want to.
Ugly is ugly, right?
But these right here, were you here when they were collected? Let's see, there we go.
Absolutely. I was
Yeah.
in the water. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm old. And and the problem is that when you're collecting and you find something and you pull it up in the net, you're just like little children all over again. You go, "Look at this. I don't know what that is. It's a new fish." And you just get so excited, and it really is like Christmas in the net. And those guys are just so much fun. When we first caught those, they were only an inch long at most. We thought we found ourselves a new pygmy rainbow. Not true, but at the same time, they're very, very pretty.
So in a perfect world, you wish it was a dwarf species?
Now that I see them, I'm perfectly happy with them. It was just kind of cool that we were going to come up with another, pygmea type fish. But hey, it is what it is.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for tonight. We don't want to spoil the whole tour or anything like that. We filmed for like an hour and a
We're
half.
not going to show them the 210?
The 210? Do you want to go out to the 210? I mean,
Okay, sure. Well, you got to cut between here and there.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll keep it in on me. You know, he doesn't want all his secrets exposed. You know how that goes. So, we'll just film my beard the whole way here.
Dirt and filth everywhere.
That's right. Well, now he just described my beard as dirt and filth.
No, dirt and filth in the fish room in the basement.
Boom.
So yeah, the 210-gallon rainbow tank.
Let me turn the lights
He's
back
putting the
on.
light back.
Oh, the lights aren't even on, really.
Look at that wonderful lily.
That's what happens when they dim themselves.
Yep. So I'll give you the, you know, and he's got the tetras breeding in here. These cool tetras that I hadn't really seen before. He's got cribs breeding in here.
Those what they call the giant cribs of some sort. I don't know what
Are they the
They're really giant.
Sacramonas or something like
I
that? Or
have no idea. They're just pretty red ones as far as I'm concerned.
yeah.
I'm a rainbow fish guy. I'm very picky about my rainbows, but it's like I don't know what they
If it's not a rainbow, it's a, you know, it's one of those other fish. It's not a rainbow.
If
yeah.
I get a name on it, I make sure I keep that name, but they didn't come with a valid name, so I just enjoy them.
How many fish are in here? I'd say there's probably like 30 or 40 rainbows, maybe 30 rainbows plus a smattering of probably 30 other fish combined.
I could put a lot more in here. It's
And you
just-
keep like, what was it? You said 50 Amano shrimp or something?
yeah, something like that. There's a few hiding in the gravel there.
Yeah.
That cranium is like.
The crinum is amazing, and he sold some of these at the Cataclysm, the catfish convention we were at. And, you know, you'll get all the tips. I don't want to ruin the tips because he gave a lot of tips on that crinum, but that thing is like, I don't know, it's bigger than my fist around for dang sure. So, yeah. So it's just me, Jimmy, Gary Lang, his wife's upstairs, and we've got to shower up, get ready, and then head to Colorado where we can do another filming. So thanks for hanging out, guys, and save all your questions for after we do the whole tour. Sorry the audio was kind of in and out. It was kind of impromptu. We didn't mic anyone up, and it's hard to do on a live stream, but we had good enough connection. I thought, why not get you on here? So thanks to all 385 of you for hanging out. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out, and, you know, wait for the video. It's coming out soon, and it will be amazing.